Okay, gang, it's Wellness Wednesday. And just as I promised you on Monday, I said we would be featuring some from our family this entire week. So these are three more people. That's a miracle. I didn't even pay them to come on, and they're on. So I appreciate it so much. And you're gonna get to meet each one of them and hear from their journey. By the way, today is not about how to use the PT program. It's about all of us sharing our personal journeys. So I'm just very, very grateful. We have Karen, Joe, and Kristine on, and they'll be sharing their journey. So let's go on quick. I want to show something before I toss the ball over to them to run the show. Let me show you what we got here. Of course, today is Wellness Wednesday, gang. Um, and our quote for the theme for this entire week is note to self. It's okay to not have it all figured out yet. That's so important, you guys, because if you're having any issues and you're needing to consider your physical therapy piece, you have got to just take it day by day. Figure out what your body's saying I can do that day, and that's all you do, right? And some days you're like, oh, I got to go back down to that other workout because I guess I got too far ahead of myself. So you won't have to figure it all out. Your body will tell you. This journey is very easy to read as long as you learn to listen to your body, for sure. And today we have three. So Karen Lothrop is on. Joe John is going to share knees. I'm guessing that we have multiple body concerns, though. And I say that because Kristine and I already talked, and she's doing back, but she's discovered other areas, other concerns. I for sure am knee-hab, but I had to add the back builder, the bed one, the first one. I have to do that first before I can even get into the knee-hab because my lower back has got wonky with all my weird walking. So we may be using one PT, but yes, I had a question the other day. Would it make sense that you were using two of the PT programs? Well, yeah, pretty much if you're normal, like the rest of us, yeah, you would be using probably more than one. So I'm going to cover just a couple of things before we begin. Did you guys know that the 55 plus group just passed 1,800 people in here now as of last week sometime? I missed it, but anywho, so we are growing, you guys. We are growing as a family. So anyhow, as we step into PT, just a couple of reminders. One, if you are under a doctor's care right now and a physical therapist, for heaven's sakes, before you step into any one of our PT workouts, you do need to run it past them for, say, this is what I'm looking at. Matter of fact, you could just share it on your phone, go on the app and say, this is what I'm thinking about. Does this fit in? Because it's really important that it aligns with the timeline and the protocol that they're wanting to take you on right now, right? But one of the cool things about our PT is you can use it as a prehabilitation, which is before surgery. You know, you're going to have hip surgery, knee surgery. You could do this as a prehabilitation. You can also do it during your insurance rehab time. And you can do it after the insurance runs out and they're not going to pay anymore. You can do it then. And of course, I don't know about you guys on here today, but when I had 9 years before I started with DDPY, I had a knee injury to both knees. And at the point they said, Pam, you're done, they hand me this paper, you're done with rehab now. I'm thinking, I can't walk yet. What does this mean I'm done? And then I realized, well, what it means is there's no more money train from my insurance. And so they're kicking me out the door. So those people, you need us as well. But I will, when I post this today, I will make sure and put the official launch link that DDP and them did on April, let's see, when it was, I can't remember, April 3rd it was. Yeah, so they officially launched it. You guys get to hear from their thought process, how they did it. DDP himself, Dallas, my coach, Steve Hughes on there, Matt Kilgore, Josh Nair, and Yoga Doc. All five of them are sharing. That link will be here below, so you can go on and hear the longer version of how this even came to into play, right? But I will give you, in case you don't get over there very soon, you need to understand they did build this as a different system. So when you're talking knee-hab, you start with number 1, and then you go to number 2, and then you go to number 3, and you move on up. In my case, I got to 4 and then realized she's not going to number 5 yet, because I have to modify a lot of number 4 in the knee-hab, right? But I still do 1 and 2 as my warm-ups, because those are like 15 minutes each. Then I step into 3 and 4. I just won't see 5 for a while, right? But just so you understand, the knee-hab, the back builders, all of these are put in place with a stair step in mind. And last but not least, I want to make sure you all know this was formed. DDPY was formed because of an injury. So rehab is how we got birthed anyway. And it was Dallas himself who had the back injury, wanted to rehab and get back in the ring, right? So the foundation of who we are has always been rebuilding. It's just now they've taken us to a whole nother level. And Dallas said that he did his rehab 7 days a week. He would start out with like 20 minutes, and then he would get to 30 minutes. Eventually, Dallas got to 3 hours a day, 7 days a week, just not 3 hours at the same time. He would put it throughout the time. But everybody knows about the Arthur Borman story, but maybe everybody doesn't realize when by the time Dallas got a hold of him, he said, gosh, Arthur, you're going to want to do this 7 days a week. Morning, once in the morning and once at night, 2 times a day. I want you to do it 7 days a week. That was when Arthur began to get his breakthrough. So you'll hear if you click onto that live one that they created on April 3rd, you will actually hear the physical therapists on there say, we do recommend if you go to 7 days with this thing, you'll have recovery quicker. So very, very important. So, okay, as we step into this, I'm telling you what, I appreciate you guys. You share what your journey looks like and what you're doing, basically as a point of reference for everybody else to hear. We're all going through something, and how are you doing it? So I'll pass it over to Karen first. Karen, are you game to go first?
Yep.
Okay, share with us your journey.
Okay, well, I had a broken arm, and then I got COVID. So I was recovering from those 2 things. And at some point, my blood pressure was 200 over 119. So they put me on medication, and my legs all swelled up. Well, they changed it, and the swelling went down, but now I can't walk up the stairs. My knees, and I said, what's going on with this? He said, oh, maybe you have arthritis. Then he was gonna do something. I was like, nope. I said, where's that CD? So I started doing DDP. It took me like 3 days before I could. I don't think it's called Energy, because it's basically the same one though. It was over 50 pounds or over 55. That was the CD.
Oh.
And so it was after the 3 times I could finally do it. And he was saying, oh, give it a month. Well, it took about 4 months before I saw results. And then that was, I started in September, I guess. Anyways, by December, we went to a shrine, and there's like loads and loads of stairs. And I went up, there was 2 sets. I went up both of them. So, I mean, I couldn't go up. I only have like 4 or 5 stairs. I couldn't go up them without holding on to the railing, and, going down, I'd put my weight on my arms and kind of like swing down because it hurt so much.
Right.
And it was huge. I when you watch the video and you see what you're doing, it doesn't look like you're doing anything, but it works. But I still need work, because today I have a granddaughter and she does stuff. And anyways, the computer downstairs, it's old. It wouldn't turn on. I had to get down on the floor, and I was okay when I got down on the floor. But then when I had to like twist around, it was like, ugh. So I ended up doing the knee PT today. I've already done 1 and 2. So I did 3, number 3 today. And it was, you know, a lot of good information about strengthening your hips and uh doing I did the knee droppers, and I'm really, and he, you know, he explains all the things you're going to be strengthening and how much better you're going to get.
Yes.
And when you're doing it, you realize how many things are stiff. Like when you're going up and down stairs, you know, I've accomplished that, but crawling around on the floor, it's a whole nother ball game. I was like, oh God.
Yeah. But
I
even,
didn't fix I didn't fix anything either. It's still all,
yeah.
but
But
I did get.
even in these workouts, seriously, so I got to number 4, but I was happy to sit down drinking water different parts because it's like, oh, I can't do that part. And I'm thinking, surely if it's knee, I could do anything within there. But yeah, that told me right there, Pam, do not look at number 5 because there's no point looking at number 5 rehab because I'm clearly that's my spot.
Yeah,
So
I'm at number 3. There's a lot of things that I'm not good at. So there's no way I would say, oh, time to do number 4. No,
yeah.
gotta stay right where I am right now. But you know, thank God there is something you can do. The
Oh,
body's a wonderful machine, and we're so lucky that somebody figured out how to fix it.
yes. Actually, so I'm on 9 days of doing like a 2-hour kneehab thing. I start with that bed deal and then I go into the first 4 of kneehab. And day 7, I noticed that the pain was gone. You know, the sharp pains I was living with in both knees. I noticed actually 2 days ago, it's like, well, the sharp pain's gone. That's amazing, right? But you don't know till you start down these journeys and then you start to figure out, oh, I guess that's working better now. I didn't know it because it doesn't always seem like you're going anywhere during the workouts, right? But you are.
I
So
know
I
it.
feel like you
I,
got quality already moving forward.
I filmed myself the other day for the first time,
Good for you.
and I watched myself, and it, you know, it looks like I'm not even trying, and I, and I know I really am. It's like, wow, you could do a lot better, but you know, I really was putting all my effort in.
Oh yeah. Well, I love that in the 6 photos that we're supposed to take, put up there. One of them, of course, is lifting your leg up over your head or as far as you could go. And of course, I started with morbid obesity on top of the knee issues, right? So I'm just trying to find my ankle. I literally was just trying to find it, like touch it. I knew it wasn't going to come even a foot off the floor, right? But I thought I'll find it, right? And I kid you not, it was on my 10th month that I was out somewhere and I took a hold, and unfortunately, I got it on camera. I took a hold of my ankle and lifted it, and it came up like about right here. I'm like, whoa, what are you doing over there? And then I thought, well, shoot, maybe it goes higher. It went all the way up. And it was 10 months in, and I had no idea because honestly, I wasn't trying that one. It just wasn't even a goal. I was like you even talk about, I just wanted to walk. All I wanted to do was walk. I didn't even mind my obesity. That it went away, 10 months, 77 inches and 80 pounds. But all I wanted to do was walk. And those of us that have these issues, we know what it's like. They stop you from doing something that you just thought would be easy to do. So,
And there's stairs everywhere.
yeah. So, any other thoughts that you have, Miss Karen?
Well, I'm just really happy that we have this to do because I don't know what I'd do. I mean, other than get crutches, it would be awful. And I mean, I still have a ways to go. And I can't really crawl around on the floor that good. I can, and I can get up again, but it still hurts. But I just hope that everybody that has any pain will try these because just from doing the little that I've done, it's made such a huge difference.
Yes. Oh gosh.
Like I said, on film, I look like I'm not even trying,
No, I know.
but I am.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, my goodness, Joe, I know you happen to also face the knee injuries, but I have to tell you, Joe it's really fun when we have brand newbies that came in the DDPY door, and then I could talk you into doing this. I'm like, what? So you're tell us your story though too, because your new journey as well coming in this door.
Right. So, gosh, I hurt my knee probably back somewhere around 2015. It progressively got worse, just sore, a lot of pain. Sometimes just didn't have any flexibility. I'm probably the least flexible person you've ever met anyway to begin with. The knee didn't help. I'd already had meniscus surgery on my right knee. This was my left knee. And so in 2019, I had meniscus surgery again to repair it. And I never regained the flexibility in it. It was almost as if though someone had poured concrete in there. And it was just, I couldn't bend it. I couldn't stand for long periods of time. I mean, probably 20 minutes was my max. And then I paid for it
And
with it being swollen.
but Joe, you're a young man too. You're only 50 what?
56.
Yes. So you're saying back in your early 50s you were already facing that adversity?
Absolutely. Yeah. And so I needed to do something with it, but I thought it was structurally something inside the knee that I would either need to get more surgery or just deal with it. And we went on vacation, fast forwarding to March of this year of 2024. My wife and I, along with some other dear friends, went to Florida. We drove from Ohio to Florida, and my knee was pretty stiff. My ankles had gotten swollen, and it was beautiful. You know, I left Ohio. It was snowy and spitting, freezing rain and cold and windy and dark. And you're now in Florida, you know, and beautiful weather, sunshine. You're walking around in shorts and a t-shirt. My wife wanted to walk the beach, and I struggled. You know, my weight was way up high, inflammation out of control, and I said I have to do something. And you know, it was out of desperation. And prior to leaving, I teach school, and I have a class, and I wanted to show these kids something positive. So I put the Arthur Borman video on, and the kids were amazed, and I was amazed. Arthur's a veteran, having served in the Army. I served in the Army for 6 years. I thought, you know, if this guy can do it, I mean, he has every excuse
Yeah.
not to do it. No one would have blamed him had he given up.
Yeah.
If he could do it, I can do it because I'm so far ahead of him. I'm not in the braces and the back brace. I can walk on my own. I can start, you know, the beginner stuff. And so I said, I'm going to do this. And I spent my vacation, my spring break, whenever I could sneak a few minutes watching videos. I bought the book, had it ordered. It was waiting for me at the house when I returned. And I just decided this is it. I'm going to go all in. I forgot to weigh in. Excuse me, I forgot to record weighing in. I started Easter Sunday, so
Yeah.
March 31st. 2 days later, I thought, you know, I finally joined the Unstoppable contest. Not, I just did it because I wanted to. My wife encouraged me, hey, take the measurements and let's do the pictures, because you know you just need that
Yes.
feedback how you're doing. And so I did that, but I forgot to record myself weighing in. So 2 days later, I weighed in and I was 10 pounds down. And I thought, what? Like, what is going on? And my wife said, your inflammation's leaving. And a
Oh,
lot of people, and it's because of Food Inc. and
yeah.
listening. Something that Arthur said that DDP said was, you're putting the crap food before your own family, and that was my why. You know, I've got my wife, a beautiful wife. She is 6 years younger than me. She does not struggle with any type. She's not overweight at all. She's in good shape. I've got three wonderful sons. I've got two granddaughters and one on the way, and I want to be around for them. And having grown up with a father who was alcoholic and not really a big part of my life, I had some anger, like you chose alcohol over your son.
Oh,
And then I realized I'm doing the same thing with the crap food and watching Food Inc. Holy cow, like that's a game changer. And so I said, I'm gonna eat real food and I'm going to watch what I ate. In 2 days, I had lost 10 pounds. Now it wasn't fat, but it was water
important for
getting
you.
that inflammation out of me. And I was like, wow, like no one's gonna believe 2 days in I'm down 10 pounds. But I started doing the exercises. I do at least one a day, 7 days a week. That I made a commitment the first 30 days. I'm not gonna skip any. And something that DDP said, you're breaking up the scar tissue.
Yeah.
And I realized that that's what I was doing. I was starting to bend and move my knee. The inflammation, the diet had cleared up a significant amount of the inflammation. And then, I was doing knee-hab 1 and 2. I was doing all of the beginner, the energy and the fat burners and and so I noticed that I'm starting to break up that scar. I didn't even realize. I wish somebody would have told me this sooner. Like that's what that concrete was. It was inflammation coupled with the scar tissue. You have to break that up. And literally, and I'm not exaggerating, I went from constant pain in my left knee to no pain in 1 week.
Oh,
In 1 week.
I totally believe it. Yeah.
And it was just so weird because you get up in the morning, I put my feet on the floor and I go to take my first step and I'm almost wincing, anticipating because I had a decade of this constant knee pain and it's not there anymore.
Isn't
And
it?
I'm thinking, in February of this year, 2024, I took a medical class where we had to get on the knees. We were doing CPR, practicing on a dummy, and I couldn't get on my knees. And guy saw me in pain and said, "Hey, would you like a table?" So the rest of the class, and there are people older than me on their knees doing the CPR. I had to stand up doing it on a table. That was in February. Now I'm doing the knee hab. I'm on my knees. I'm getting flexibility. Pain went from a 9.5 to a 0. Just Saturday, I went to another training where I was on my feet. I did not sit down for 4 hours. If I could have done that prior, I would have paid for it probably the next 3 days, swollen knee, and I had none of that. So
Wow. And you even said something in a post you did that now I can walk down the hallways at school where you work and you don't have to think about all the pain of every step to get down the hallway, right?
absolutely. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I've got dogs and my dogs look at me and before I'd be like, okay, we went on a walk yesterday. It's going to be 2 days before I can get up the strength or just the inflammation down and the knee pain down to where I can take for another walk, take for another hike. And my poor dogs, now my poor choices, my eating crap food and it's now impacting my dogs, not to mention, the rest of the people that I love.
Wow, wow. And that CPR thing, I know the rest of you can connect to this idea that it's so tough when you're in a position that you realize everybody around you is doing something. For me, it was even at a grocery store, watching everybody go fast into the door and fast out. And like you're saying, Joe, people much older than me even, and they're going fast. And I'm thinking, I'm the turtle. I mean, I can hardly make this, right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
That thing when you were at that CPR thing, that's the truth. If we don't find our breakthrough, we have moments after moments like what you just shared. And it's tough on your mindset and your heart when you see everybody else doing normal and you can't, right? So,
something Jared said. I think his day one blog, he said, putting shoes and socks on was a battle of life and death. And it's so true. I mean, even something as little as tying my own shoe is just easier now. I can actually bend my knee. And I'm just starting on this journey. I've got a long way to go, but this is starting week 4, and I really think both mentally and physically, I'm already a different person. I've got momentum behind me. I'm just very excited. I thank God for this program.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And thank you for bringing up the nutrition thing because we haven't really said much about it, but that plays as well into helping us get quick recoveries. So good for you, Joe. Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow. Okay, Kristine, as if it's not your pressure now, how do you top what you just heard? I've
I
been
don't know.
trying to the
Well,
first two. Don't make me cry, girlfriend. I'm telling you.
well, I
Yeah,
would say that I want to be one of those fast old people.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
my goal. I want to be a fast old person. I mean, I am old. I'm already old. So I'm 74. I used to be fit. Uh, I was very fit when I was young. I'm a retired nurse. My back took a beating, I will tell you. And I thought it was okay until I started gaining weight in my later years here and gained weight and gained weight and gained weight. Ate things I never ate, didn't exercise, did all the wrong things. There you are. I did them all wrong. And anyway, in 2020, I actually injured my back. And I was on the floor. I was on the floor with my back. I couldn't move. Now, I'm not used to not being able to move. My weight kept me down from moving. So all of these things combined was terrible. Oh, and by the way, years ago, I got hit by a car and I tore the ligaments in my right knee. So I've got knee, back, fat, old, and I also developed
I need to
vertigo.
laugh, but I relate to
I
every
know.
bit of that.
And I developed vertigo on
Yeah.
top of everything else. So I've got all this stuff going on, and I have been looking for something for a while. You know, I've joined gyms, I've stopped. I even had a personal trainer, I stopped. And it was just very difficult for me to get my head wrapped around actually doing something and sticking with it. I came across this program and I started before the PT thing had started, and I was liking it, and I started to work it and do it and stuff. And then the PT came out and I go, "Oh, I got to do this PT thing." So I started the Back PT, and I don't know if people realize how unique and different this program is, because I don't want to move. I hurt. I don't want to move. So when I start the movements, you start with, raising your hands. Well, my raising of my hands is not going to hurt my back, but I will tell you it helps. So every movement I do helps my back, and it helps me move a little further ahead in movement. And I can actually say after the first week of doing the PT in the back, and I'm starting to add workouts in between now. I can honestly say that by doing that, it's beginning to make a difference. I'm not having the tingling down my leg that I was having as much, which is just as bad as pain as far as I'm concerned. And I'm beginning to see improvement just in this last week. So kind of like Joel said, it's just kind of surprising, but it's true. Just do it and keep moving. And with the vertigo piece of it, for those of you, and I know you're out there because millions of people have vertigo. You kill me if I had to do a downward dog because I'd pass out. So try incorporating these movements and using the modifiers that they have you use clearly, not just saying to you, "Oh, you can modify this," but walking me through the modifications
Yeah.
lets a person do every little thing that they are possible to do. They have the possibility of doing this movement, they can do this movement, and it helps. So I'm finding it one of the most beneficial things. And just like we were talking about earlier, in the insurance company says, "Okay, yes, you have back pain, go to physical therapy, do these 3 exercises at home and call me next week." It's like, yeah, all right. That's not going to be helpful. That will get nobody back to being functional.
Right.
this for me has been the most functional thing I've done in years. And I mean, I bought I used to dance. I danced ballet. I bought an old ballet DVD thing to try to do that. You know, it's like, no, none of that's going to work. This program is putting my back into place. I'm going to start working on my knees as well soon, but I wanted to get my back okay. And I have to take it easy because of the vertigo. So, you know, when you're going down, I have to keep my head kind of level and just work on that. But you do, you know, you do. So I'm finding this for me just incredibly beneficial. And now that you said, I didn't know that he did his exercises twice a day. So now I'm thinking, oh, if I do, I could do two 20-minute sessions. I'm consider now I've got something more in my head to think about.
Well, but it still is, you guys, about modifying it, right? And with vertigo, you might be one that should put 2 folding chairs, one on each side of you, because you're seeing those in some of the programs that we have already in there. They don't say that so much, at least in the knee-hab part, that they don't make reference to that. But with vertigo, I would put 2 folding chairs so that everything you're doing fits that, right? But
And
you're
every single balance, everything that requires balance, which requires core strength, helps to improve vertigo. So every single thing we're doing here is what is needed. If you have vertigo, you have to move. If you have back pain, you have to move. If you have knee pain, you have to move. And it is just what we don't want to do. And it's exactly what I have to do.
I have to say, I hadn't done formal exercise for 25 years before I started in 2022 here. And I'm thinking, I don't want to exercise. I mean, and I sure didn't want another diet. I've been on a gazillion. I'm 69 years old. I tried some of them many times over just to make sure I couldn't succeed at them, right? And so I didn't want diet, and I sure didn't want exercise. I just wanted to walk again, and I didn't. My son found this and he said, Mom, I think you're going to be able to walk. And I'm like, really? Now what I'm dealing with right now, you guys, is so people listen to this and they think, well, but I don't have any challenges. Well, happy for you, but guess what? I was even into the advanced workouts before. In January, 2.5 months ago or whatever, is when I fell in the garage carrying a box, and I didn't want to drop the box, so my right knee took the whole hit. So I went back into a whole, oh my word, here I am, 2.5 years later, and I've gone. Now, someone said it's not going back. Well, you can call it whatever you want, put as much flower around that, flowery words, but I'm telling you, I felt so defeated 2.5 months ago. And I tried to still stay in the same workouts I was doing, which of course was not working because of my knee. And I mean, you guys know when they say go into safety zone, are you kidding me right now? With my knee, my butt was clear up in the air. There was no way that a safety zone was going to be a rest for me. In fact, it would shoot me into the red zone. But then the PT, and this thing is a game changer. Had I had this back in 2022 when I did the other, I would have stepped into that right away, had much faster recovery on my knees, and would have been out of control racing around the neighborhood, right? So I'm so glad you guys are stepping into these, and people can reach out to you and ask your journeys. Now, you had said too, Karen, you actually have experienced vertigo as well, right?
Yeah.
So those of you that are having vertigo, reach out to these 2 gals, because that's a journey I don't understand, but I know it's got to be, you're thinking multiple things of how you approach each thing because of the vertigo, correct?
Oh yeah,
Right.
I can't do safety zone. I can't getting on the floor is like getting on a boat that's in a storm, I'm like this.
Yeah.
So yes, it's difficult.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, you guys are total inspirations, because you've stepped into that. When they launched this, I said, we're the ones, the 55 plus. There's so many of us that are in need of these things, but you guys were willing to come on and share your story. So, and Joe, I appreciate you because I know, I shared this with you in the beginning, but my husband always likes to hear from men. It is what it is. And so I'm sure that some will think, well, if it was good enough for Joe, it must be good, good enough for me. And it's fun that you're actually in your school office room right there, right?
My classroom, yes.
Classroom. Yeah, I can see that. And it's Ohio.
Right, Ohio State Wrestling.
Yeah, there you go. So thank you guys so much. And it's a fabulous Wellness Wednesday when people get to hear from your hearts and what you breakthroughs you've had. I can't thank you enough. Anybody have anything to add at the end here before we hang up? No, you said it all. Well,
No,
very
Joe.
yeah. Okay. Well, love you tons, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate this.